Great, Greg. Thanks for joining us. We'll be starting in just a minute.
I gotta send Tony the link again.
Great.
Well, hello, Jeff Kregsky.
Hello.
All right. We just had a few more folks join us.
Hopefully Tony's got it now.
All right. You want to wait another minute or we want to go ahead and let people in?
Let's see, who else are we missing?
Do we have Joe?
Oh, no.
Ryan's here with me.
Great.
So I think we're just waiting for Tony Dulce.
I believe so. Well, welcome everyone. I think Tony will join us in just a minute. I do want to just let everyone know that this is being recorded and streamed live on the city's website at jamestownny.net/live. So if you are looking to play this, remember you can see this live. Okay. We will let people in on the call and the video as we go along, but I appreciate you all taking time out of the day to do the actually the first meeting and the special meeting of the Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency today, April 6th, 2020. We have a whole lot to talk about today. I'm very excited about some of the things, the work that Crystal and her team have been doing, and some of the real big things that we're looking to push forward as we go into this year. I know this is a very strange time, and I know this is sometimes difficult to have these meetings when we're all out and about and doing other things, but we do need to get business done here in the city, and we need to continue on. I'm sorry, I'm really distracted by Ben's cat who just walked across the street. Joys of working from home, huh? All right, so now that we have everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency meeting. Thank you for those that are joining. Crystal or Beth, do either of you have a list of participants we can go through and do a roll call?
I've got it, Beth, if you don't.
Okay.
Okay, so Mayor,
I'm here.
Greg,
Present.
Mike,
Here.
Tony, have you joined us yet?
I see you, but I don't think I'm on the screen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
John Selstrom?
Here. Here.
Joe Bolito?
Here.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Ryan Thompson?
Here.
Ben, I see you.
I'm here.
Zach?
I'm here.
I see Beth. And Stephanie, I think, was calling in.
I'm on the.
All right. And then, of course, I am here. I believe that is everyone. Is there anybody on that I did not call? Yay.
All right, fantastic. We're going to go ahead and now that we've done the roll call, we'll see if there's any public comments. Crystal, have you received any public comments?
I have not. And I checked with Jennifer. She has not either. So.
Okay, Hearing that no public comments have been received, we're going to go ahead through our normal course of business. The first one is the consideration for approval of the minutes of the December 27th, 2019 meeting. Did you all receive a copy of that in your email?
Yes.
I did.
Okay. Any corrections or changes that any of you would like to bring forward?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. None of us were here, so it's almost impossible to approve them.
It is indeed. It is indeed. But we'll still go through it anyways. So is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion. This is Greg Noon.
Greg? A second?
Yes.
I'll second it. Tony,
Tony?
Yeah.
All in favor?
aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll move on from the minutes. The next one is the financial reports that we received over email. John or Crystal, do you want to talk about any of those reports?
The year went pretty well. Overall, this is for the approval of the December 2019 financials. And that includes the whole year. We just finished up with John Trusello as our audit, which also went pretty well. His number one additive was that we just develop a long-term budget for more futuristic outlooking. Other than that, everything else was pretty normal.
Crystal, anything else to add?
I do have, this is Joe. John, maybe it would be appropriate, especially for a bunch of new people, including myself, to go over some of these in a little more detail without taking up a lot of time here.
Sure.
I've got the, you mentioned, so I'm looking at your budgets. You sent us the 19 and 20 budgets to actual.
Yes.
And you sent us like disbursements from December. Is that kind of the normal process?
That is the normal process. Usually it's just a monthly cash disbursements on that versus the whole year. But I can provide it.
I guess my question would be is we're looking at the 20 budget to actual, wouldn't it be more appropriate to send January through March disbursements? That's the detail we're kind of looking at on the comparison of budget to actual?
Are you just talking about just for the new year of 2020?
Yeah, I guess that's what I would suggest.
Yeah, I can provide those. I'm still working on March, but I can send out January and February's, of course.
Okay. Well, I was thinking you might have it because you've got numbers January through, March on here, so they should tie.
Usually what happens is the only reason I provided the 2021 for this meeting is actually for our number 10 item on the agenda today. I was talking about getting that contract with Seth. And that's why I provided that. Normally I would have just shown the December 1, 2019. We would have been closing it up with John. But
Gotcha.
in the future, if I ever do, I can of course add those to the list.
Yeah, I think it would be prudent too. So I didn't have any questions on the 19 because your numbers in the actual column tie to John's audit, so that's good. In the 20 budget, you've already gotten some. I guess here's my question: is you've recognized some revenue in the CDBG programs for 17 and 18 and home program for 17 that weren't budgeted. So was this like an unexpected money you received in the first quarter?
No. So these did have set amounts, but these are actually part of the projects that we complete, and we get 10% of the projects. If you actually go to the bigger one, it's called entitlement program. It's got a bunch of little columns on it. It has budgeted for it. Pretty much we operate these projects for CBDG and we get a 10% cut of the money.
Okay.
And the ones that we actually budget for, the 2018 and 2000 home program 2018, those are both money that we get every year from administrative budget, which is a 20% of the total year's allotment.
Okay.
And that goes towards our salaries and helps pay for other admin costs. But the 10% ones will come in differently every year. It's just based on when the full amount has been spent, as we can only receive. We sometimes we receive like a portion of it, but we would only pull, if we've only done 50%, we would only be able to pull 5% of the project cost.
Okay. All right, because I just thought
And
I
thus
mentioned
we
that
can't,
because
don't think 16 and 17, but realistically, we know we're going to get the CBDG program from 2018 and the home program from 2018.
good. All right,
And that's why they're just slightly different, but
that's fine. Let me maybe just again for the group here discuss or the rationale a little bit. You've got an unbalanced budget. You've got more expenditures than revenue. So you're budgeting a $39,000 deficit for the year. What do you do to kind of overcome that, I guess?
probably if we have to budget for a loss or a net zero. So we make up for the other $39,000 either through the 10% that we received from 2017 and 18, for example.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we do have a couple more of those, and that's usually how we recover that. If you look at the 2019 one, you'll see that we actually only lost 3,505
Right.
16.
Yeah.
And I could have drawn more home money program, but we had HUD coming down and they wanted to discuss about the home program. So I paused that. And just so they would be, we were just talking about it and they told me to wait before because we had to revamp our time cards for our home and CBDG.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, again, I just wanted to bring that up so everybody would understand that as a group.
Great. Any other questions?
And we also make up for it also in, if you look at 2019, you see EDF project management income. We work on with the land bank and we do get a percentage based on how many projects.
Right.
Part of that. And that's just another way that we recover it on for the futuristic budgeting.
Okay. Well, again, I just thought to educate some people that would be good to discuss.
Absolutely. I can answer anything.
Great. Any other questions?
Just one note. I mean, John brought up John Trissello's audit. It's number 6 on the agenda. It says approval of 2020 audit. It should say it should be 2019 audit on the agenda.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. We will make that note. We'll call for the motion. Anything else? All right. Hearing that, John, you had asked for a motion to approve the financial reports for 2019. Is that correct?
Is that correct, John?
I'm sorry?
You would like approval of the financial reports, is that correct?
Yes. For the 2019 year. And that will go along with the John Trissello's audit on number 6 as well.
Okay. So we'll,
other than that correction, but
we'll call for a motion for the approval of the financial reports from 2019. Anyone want to?
So moved.
Joe, any seconds?
Yes.
I'll second it, Tony.
Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it is passed. The next one we have for consideration is the appointment of Crystal Surtick as the Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency Executive Secretary. At the last meeting, she was appointed as acting Executive Secretary and has since been named as the Department of Development head. And we do need to motion to have her put in as the Executive Secretary for this organization. So I'll ask if there are any questions in regards to Crystal's appointment.
No, I move that she be made secretary. Tony. Should be approved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Joe, any discussion? By the way, I will say that Crystal has done wonders with the Department of Development and Jura so far in the very short amount of time. And we thank her and her team for all of their work so far. And we're excited to see what else we can do with it.
All my team. They're rock stars.
I'll second that sentiment.
Yeah, there you go. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that will pass. The next resolution we have is the authorization of M&T Bank, Key Bank, and Evans Bank as depositories for the Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency, something we're required to do every year at the reorganization meeting. Any discussion on this? All right, I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
Joe, second.
I'll second it, Tony.
Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, that has been passed. Number 5 on the agenda is the authorization of agency and our staff members to attend meetings and conferences relative to the code enforcement and community development activities in 2020. Crystal, can you talk about what those look like? What conferences those would be?
Yep, so those would be annual code enforcement conferences and trainings. We have Matt, who is new, Matt Hanley. So he's got an 18-month time period that he's got to complete a number of courses. So that would include those courses for him. It would also include any potential conferences. Southern Tier West does a number of conferences every year. Larry goes to a handful of those. So anything that pertains to the continuing education of the staff, we actually have a budget line for that. I'm just looking for what we've settled on, $10,000. That's actually up from previous years. That was approved at the last meeting. So anything that contributes to the ongoing, education and betterment, training of our department staff.
And some of them also include, they have to attend the meeting every year to be regulatory, correct? Yes.
So Crystal, you're asking for a blanket travel authorization up to the amount of your budget?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Any other questions, comments? All right. Do I have a motion for approval of this resolution?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, hearing none, we will move on. The next one is the approval of the 2019 audit. That was a correction from the agenda by John S. Trusello, Certified Public Accountant, PC. Is there any discussion on this?
Just what I
just like-
mentioned. You can go, Joe.
No, go ahead and I'll follow you.
The only thing that I would bring up is what John was, the two findings there, not findings, sorry. The 2 points he had, which were the long-term budget for the futuristic goals, and then also the amount of risks that we take from JLDC and also for our administrative costs. which is was on there last year as well, but we just have some risky business with the JLDC and their loans. And that's all I had.
I'll just add to that a couple of things. John, you could look on the city website and look at the the long-term financial plan I've got there for the city. You may want to use that as a guide possibly in creating one for Jura. And two, I'd just like to commend John. The audit went very well this year, and it was, John's second go round went much better than his first. So I just want to thank John for doing a great job this past year.
Thanks, Joe. And I'll definitely look into the long-term plan on the line.
I just want to add, John, that the audit was finished in record time, at least compared to last year. But John has worked really hard to make a lot of changes to the way that we are tracking our finances in the department, organizing things that hadn't previously been organized. He's been working really hard to streamline processes, and he's done a really fantastic job.
Well, thank you.
Well done. Well done. I know it's a tough job. All right. So any other discussion on that? Okay. So I will entertain a motion for the approval of the 2019 audit.
So moved.
Joe, second.
I'll second it, Tony.
Tony for a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes. We shall move on. The next resolution is for the appointment of Benjamin Haskins, Esquire, as legal counsel for Jura. Crystal or Ben, I'll just ask for clarification. Is this similar to the JLDC where you guys will be entering into an agreement with the city for legal services, or with Ben individually?
I mute myself. Sorry. Yeah, so that would be with the city,
Okay.
similar to the JLDC.
Okay.
We also, Ben, and it's a little confusing, but Ben originally came to us under a zombie grant through LISC. And this year he was moved up to associate corporation counsel. So congratulations on that. And it's very well deserved. Ben still is serving under that zombie grant, but it's now going through the city. So instead of the zombie grant funds being allocated to Jura, they go to the city. And that gives Ben the flexibility to extend his services beyond the zombie grant. So I hope I clarified that, or that was all accurate, Ben.
It sounded accurate to me, Crystal.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess, the resolution is just authorizing Ben now as a city employee to be the, provide Jura with legal service.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Any other questions? I will note for those that are on the call, same thing happened with the Jamestown Local Development Corporation, which is a similar entity. Instead of using outside counsel, we now have two corporation counsels here in the city of Jamestown. And so we would utilize services at a much lower rate than what we were paying outside counsel. So it actually saves Jura and the organization funding.
And I appreciate having Ben in our department. He's our go-to. I can't tell you how many times we just pop into his office and ask him for advice, or ask him if we can do certain things. And it's been great having him as part of our team, and he's doing a great job.
Thank you, Crystal. It's been a privilege working with you and the entire team as well.
All right, wonderful. Do we have a motion to approve? It's actually going to be Ben Haskins and the Corporation Counsel for the City of Jamestown to be appointed as legal counsel for Jura.
This is Greg Noon. I make a motion.
Okay, Greg, motion. Do we have a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Beat you, Joe.
Tony wins on that one.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none, that passes. We will move on. The next thing we have on the list is the acknowledgement of fiduciary responsibility, conflict of interest, and whistleblower policy. John, this is from you, correct?
It actually just comes from Jura, but it's something that it's just every year. It should just be a form that you just fill out and sign, and it has a lot of random information on it. Obviously, each one of them is different, slightly different, but they all need to be assigned by each board member.
Okay. We don't need a
The-
motion for this. Correct? We just need to have them
We
sign.
we just need to have them signed, and yeah, I don't think I'm not 100% sure. Vince usually took care of that, but I think it's just you all sign it, and then that was pretty much it. I don't know if they actually approved it last year, but
Has there been any changes to the whistleblower policy?
not that I'm aware of. Neither
No.
all three of those forms, they haven't changed, I think.
I think previously we have just added it to the meetings so that there was an acknowledgement that everybody received them.
Okay.
Everybody on the board, and they are attached. Crystal attached them to all the information you received, but if you'd like me to send out hard copies to anybody, I can certainly do that.
Should we submit those, once we sign them, should we submit those to Corporation Counsel's office or the city clerk's office?
I think that we have to keep some on file in our office as well.
Okay.
So maybe submit them to our office and then we can take care of it from there.
Okay.
Crystal, is this the one we did already? Or was that for something else?
We did it for JLDC
Yeah, it's
last time.
Do we have to do it again?
Yeah, because this one's for Jura.
Yep.
I don't know if that covered both or not. Thank you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't, but
Okay, great. If anyone would like a mailed or hard copy of that, just let either Beth or Crystal know or John know, and I'm sure we can send you a copy. Otherwise, you're welcome to use the electronic one and just email a copy back. Is that correct? Is that okay, Crystal or John or Beth?
yeah, that should be fine as long as it's signed and dated. That should be perfectly fine.
Great.
Because we'll print it out and keep it on our file either way. So
All right. So the next one we have is the extension of the due diligence period for the purchase of Windsor Street parcels by Remlap Properties LLC. Crystal, do you want to talk a bit about this?
Sure. This is, I'm not sure if everyone on the call is aware. The city, when Vince was here, he worked really hard to put together and package a number of parcels on Windsor Street, right across from the Appleyard housing complex. The sale of the properties was approved by City Council. The total price for the parcels, there are four parcels total. The sale price will be $13,200. Agreements have already been made. Given the current situation with the public health crisis that we're all facing, Remlap has reached out with their intention to extend their due diligence period. I think understandably, they actually would not be able to move forward with construction at this point anyway. So we're bringing this to all of you to consider for approval.
I would just add briefly that this 3-month extension was something that they had a unilateral right to exercise under the terms of the sales contract. Just for full disclosure of everyone before voting for approval.
Great. Any further questions from the board?
Is June 28th enough time for them realistically, or should we extend it farther?
I believe any further extension, we would probably have to, since this extension was in the contract already, we'd have to put together a little bit of paperwork to have signed by both parties to actually extend it further. I have discussed this with Crystal, and I don't think, considering the circumstances, if by the end of June they're asking for that we would be opposed to granting it to them. I mean, we're in pretty uncharted territory right now. But this one was specifically built into the sales contract. So I think any other one would probably require a little legal write-up, signature by both parties. And like I said, I don't think we would be predisposed to disputing anything along those lines if it comes to that.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right. Is there a want or a need to authorize not only to June 28th, but maybe an additional 2-month potential extension if necessary, or to authorize the board to execute an extension for an additional 2 months beyond June? Is that something that that the board is interested in?
Will we be meeting before then, or would it be just a consent form to do that, or would we have to have a special meeting?
I think that we could do it as a unanimous consent, if I'm not mistaken.
If necessary.
We would need to meet it afterward to ratify that at the next meeting, but I don't see any reason why we can't do it that way. I guess the other option is if we consent now to extend that period by 2 months in the event that they decide to request that, then it's done. I guess it's up to you what you guys want to do.
We could potentially authorize this to the June 28th and then add into that motion an additional extension for 2 months at the discretion of the executive director, if you want to do it that way. Any thoughts from the rest of the board? If not, we'll just go with June 28th.
I mean, if Ben's okay with it, based on the way you described it, I'm okay with it.
I'm definitely okay with pre-approving an additional extension. It'll make my job easier a little bit when it actually comes around to having to do it, if we reach that point.
Okay, I'll make a motion to modify the resolution as was described, and a possible 2-month extension.
Okay. You made that motion. You want to second it?
I'll second that.
Okay. We've got a motion to allow the due diligence period to June 28, 2020, with an additional allowable extension of 2 months after that. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and approve that resolution. The next one we have is the authorization of a contract with Seth Picarillo of Mercantile Inc. as a consultant to provide assistance to the agency with a HUD consolidated action plan and development of relevant policies, procedures, COVID-19, emergency CDBG funds, identification of and submission of grant applications, the search and planning process of a new principal planner, and the research planning assistant, as well as other technical assistance. That is definitely a long one. Crystal, what can you tell us more about Seth?
Sure. I actually am a colleague and have worked with Seth previously. He is the former community development director for the city of Niagara Falls. He now actually works full-time as a senior Economic Development Director. I may have his title incorrect, for the Buffalo Niagara Partnership. Seth had approached me a little while back when I had first put out my principal job posting, offering his services in grant writing or whatever we might potentially need, coming from that same background and understanding kind of the dynamics of the position and the department. We, in talking with John, we actually have some developments in our budget with the department. Todd Peterson has decided to rescind his retirement. That will save the department almost $20,000. I think it's $19,700 and some change. And so that is actually right around where, not to exceed $20,000 in services that Seth would be able to assist us with. Given the situation with the public health crisis, he actually has some extra time on his hands. And we are, in all honesty, really reorganizing the department. And he's got a background and a knowledge and experience that would really be beneficial to us right now. He's very well versed in HUD programs and CDBG and home consolidated action plans. So his knowledge and experience is exactly what we need at the moment. We are rewriting policies and procedures. Actually, we're writing policies and procedures kind of for the first time in a lot of ways. So, and we're doing it without a principal planner and without a planning assistant. So I am very much in favor of, obviously, in bringing Seth to you. I think it would be really beneficial to our department to help us reorganize and to kind of cross all our T's and dot all our I's and get us ready to move forward and take on what's next.
I will add to this that part of this resolution is for COVID-19 related emergency funds. And so, Crystal, maybe we can just talk a bit about what's coming down the pipeline for Jura with CBDG funds over the recent federal legislation that was passed.
Sure. So we were notified that we will be receiving an additional $705,000 roughly in CDBG funds. These funds are specifically to be used in a very fast, deployable kind of way. We actually will likely be able to use some of these funds to, if there are things that we bring Seth on to do that can offset some of the administrative cost of doing that. These funds are to be used. We actually, Eddie and I have talked about, and Stephanie, about doing a rental assistance program. We've also talked about some small business assistance as well. So we kind of are being tasked with, without having all of the details yet. We've got a little bit of guidance from HUD, but without having, all of the specifics, we're being tasked with developing programs to spend this money and to spend it very quickly in a way that is frankly somewhat hard to know exactly what our needs are going to be. But so that's kind of where we are right now. So having Seth brought on, he's ready to start tomorrow if this is approved. Help us write those programs would be very helpful.
Just to let everyone know as well, those programs, there's a money stream that we expect. Those programs would ultimately come to this board and some of the other boards for approval. But that's kind of the challenge that this team's been working with, which is how do we support our businesses out here in the city of Jamestown with that funding? And I've also kind of tasked and pushed on Crystal and her team. Are there ways that we can support people in rental housing during this very difficult time? On top of that, is there a way that we can also look towards rental inspections and ensuring that if we are providing some type of rental assistance, that our landlords are complying with our codes here in the city of Jamestown? So there should be more information coming on that as we start to get more from the federal government on how we can utilize those funds. But I do want this board to know that looking at ways that we can support some of our most vulnerable populations and our businesses locally here in the city of Jamestown during this tough time. So Seth would be a really great person. I've met him personally as well. I think he's got a lot of talent that he comes from Niagara Falls and some of the work they've done up there with their urban renewal. And so we're excited to have him to assist to the department. Any further questions? All right. So Crystal, I just want to confirm this would not exceed $20,000.
Correct.
Okay. So the motion to approve a contract with Seth Piccarello of Mercantile Inc. as a consultant to provide technical assistance, again, not to exceed $20,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Just one question, or just an addendum to the agenda. I would add on to the agenda not to exceed $20,000.
Okay, not to exceed $20,000. I did hear a motion. Who was that? I'm sorry.
I did it, Tony.
Tony.
That's a
Okay.
good idea, Joe. Just gotta make sure not to exceed 20,000.
All right. Second.
I'll second.
Joe. Okay. All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Hey.
opposed? Okay, hearing none, that has been passed with the addendum that it's not to exceed $20,000. The next one is a big one. So this will probably be a bit of some discussion here. Number 11 is the authorization to the agency to retain Block Club to initiate a citywide marketing and branding study. Crystal, would you like to start to talk about this, and I can add things as you're ready to go?
Sure. So we've done a little bit of research as far as where funding for this would come. And we found that we actually are able to use some of the UDAG funds to help assist with this. So that's where I think the initial retainer would come in. And then we would look to partner, and we've been in conversation already with the Comedy Center, JRC, a number of others who were involved with the Up Close marketing initiative that I think everyone is probably familiar with. So the mayor and I actually took a drive to Buffalo a little bit before the sky fell. I think probably a week before the COVID-19 started to change the way that we work. And we
None of us had any symptoms, just so you are aware. Nothing presented months ago.
So we met with a couple of agencies, Block Club being one, and I actually again have worked with them in the past, have had a really great experience working with them. If you look up their company and their brands and the marketing that they've done, really speak to the type of agency that they are. So this conversation, I guess, came from just a conversation between Eddie and I, talking about the Up Close brand, that it's great as far as from a local perspective goes. We also were approached by the Comedy Center, looking for really just support in I don't want to say in their marketing efforts, but something that would complement their marketing efforts. So these are conversations that have been had with JRC and So it's kind of what led to Eddie and I reaching out to Block Club and meeting with them. So the proposal that I attached in your email, they sent to us after a couple of conversations, and we're looking at, I guess, venturing out on a sort of a rebranding initiative, something that really embodies the spirit of the city, and will be something that the community is part of building and that they can champion as well. So this is where we are. I don't know, Eddie, if there's anything that you want to add.
Absolutely. So there's a couple things. One of the top priorities I had coming in is to ensure that we have a comprehensive kind of branding and marketing of the city, kind of who we are and what are we about. And part of that is that we've taken a marketing tack that we've got so many things that you should just come and visit, right? It hasn't really drawn us to have people come and invest. It has drawn people here to come see the city, but what we need is something a bit more comprehensive, something a bit more focused, and something that brings people here not only for tourism, but also for potential investment opportunities in the city. As you start to look at other municipalities and cities across the nation, what they've done is they've completely rebranded, they've completely changed the way and the view of what they are as a city. And that has produced a lot of economic development and a lot of economic opportunity in different places across the U.S. So as we look at Jamestown as a city that we often see is somewhat struggling, now is the time for us to invest in marketing of the city, to create us as a brand, and to start to get it out there and to get people not only here for tourism, but also investing in the things that we have here, getting them excited about bringing their business here to the city of Jamestown. So this is a very unique opportunity. We find ourselves with a lot of time with a company like Block Club, which has been doing a lot of this in different cities. And I'll tell you, they're absolutely excellent. They're a Buffalo-based firm, and they do a fantastic job of really branding and pushing things out. So I'm excited to be able to partner with them. We did meet with several other marketing firms. Block Club was really the only one to give us a very firm proposal and say, we have a vision for you guys, and we want to utilize your community to help develop the rest of that vision. So we understand this is a big component, but we do have funding available to make this happen, and this is the first step, creating I believe, Crystal, it's a study, as well as a comprehensive roadmap of marketing for the city. And with that, I'll open it up to questions about this.
What's
So
the,
the total cost, go ahead, Tony.
no, I was just gonna ask, what's the cost and where's the funding?
So the total cost for all of the items, they sort of broke out the proposal with some menu items. So things like the alignment brief and the marketing plan, that would be an item. I skipped one, the information gathering and kickoff. Oh dear, my battery's gonna die. Let me plug in quick. So they broke it down into menu items. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. Oh, it's not working. Okay. The total cost, Tony, you asked, is $80,000. That's if we elected to take all of those items.
So it's kind of like a la carte type thing?
Sorry?
It's kind of like an a la carte. You can pick whatever you want out of it.
Yes, and they broke it down by number of hours per item that they would anticipate using. Oh, okay.
I don't see that in their letter where it breaks that down.
Crystal, do you want me to share that email you sent?
Sure.
I think I can. Oh,
Joe, you know what? You're
Okay.
right. They broke it out in some, but not in all, it looks like. The one point is that the retainer would be 25,000.
Yep, see that. Well,
And so that would give us up to 167 hours roughly. And of course, that would depend on specifically what they spend in that. So they break out what their hourly rates are by the type of qualification or the type of tasks that they would be performing. So strategy, they've got strategy, photography and videography, design, copywriting, photo, video copying, copy editing, account management, that sort of thing. So they break that out on the very last page. So initially we would be looking at that $25,000 retainer. And then as we work through the project, it would be a not to exceed 80,000.
And where's the
And
funding? Crystal?
sorry.
You want to talk about the funding source?
Yeah, so that is the Urban Design Action Grant funding. So currently that fund is used to refill, I guess, the JLDC loan, revolving loan. And John, jump in if I misrepresent anything. It's not something that so for instance, we are also contributing 150,000 toward the skate park project, toward the match. So it's used for that sort of thing. It's really meant to be for economic development, supportive projects. And I did a little research just to be sure that we can definitely use those funds for this purpose. And we absolutely can. The mayor and I felt that this was an important project and something that, marketing is it's so important. And I think we have an opportunity to really get it right. So.
Crystal, do you know how much is in that fund currently?
240,000 roughly.
Okay.
That's with JLDC funds.
240,000?
I can double check on that, but
does that include the money appropriated to the skate park?
Yeah, it's actually much higher than that, John. It's the fund that has the over $1 million in it.
that would be the JAPI one. Well, I can discuss it with you, but there's plenty of money. There's 3 massive pots of money that are a part of JLDC, so which is just a part of the revolving loan.
Mm-hmm.
Do they expect to be completed by June?
So with a portion of their of the project, they would have complete by June. But this would be a longer term sort of thing. We don't expect, especially given the current situation, we can't do public engagement in a way where we're actually really engaging with the public. So there would be a portion of it done by June. Really the alignment and the marketing plan, that would all be done by then. Maybe some other things that helped us kind of get a direction. But there will be
75,000 would be paid by June though, right? 3 payments?
25,000 would, yep.
Oh, it says April 2020 through June 2020, monthly payments, $25,000 a month.
Yes, the total would be paid by June. That's correct, yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
They do plan on completing the entire study actually before June. They want to get working on it like this week. But they've found that a lot of their corporate clients aren't doing much right now, obviously. So they've come to us and they said, you know what, we'll even give you a $5,000 discount if you're able to get it done, and we want to start working on it because we've got a ton of corporate clients that don't really have any work right now for them. So they're willing to jump right into this and to make sure it's done and done well for the next 2 to 3.
I would suggest clarifying a couple of things here. So it looks like they're willing to extend us a discount if this is approved within the next 4 days here. So is the resolution before us for $75,000 max?
Yes.
And that would be for, the way I figure it, that would be for 150 hours, because or $150 an hour. There's 500 hours total in this project, right? If I read it right?
Yes.
Through June, 500 hours through June.
Yes.
But that's for the whole $75,000.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I think it would be appropriate, at least if we could get this after the fact, maybe a little description of the UDAG program, really how much money is exactly there. I mean, I think this would be good for me and for all the new members, what it can be used for, what is appropriate to use it for. So I guess if you're looking at the resolution 11, I guess, if I'm hearing you right, I would modify it to say for a maximum of $75,000 to be paid out of Urban Design Action Grant funds. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Joe, are you making that motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless there's more discussion or questions. But again, also not part of the resolution, but I think it would be good to get out to the members, the details on the UDAG program, both in what it does, what it can be used for, and how much is left.
I'd be happy to do that.
Second?
I'll second it.
I will ask if there's any further discussion. I know there was a couple items. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and that motion passes. Are there any other items for discussion or up for vote for the Jamestown Urban Renewal Agency?
Someone's back working.
Nope. Okay. Is there any members of the juror that would like to, provide any comments or other items they'd like to bring before this board? All right. Hearing none, I want to thank all of you for joining us today. This is actually the city's first Zoom meeting that we've tried. Our council members will also be using that potentially at the next council meeting. So you are all our guinea pigs, and we appreciate it. But more importantly, I appreciate you all being part of Jura. This is an agency that's been around for a while, but is taking a very new direction in the city in terms of supporting our businesses and in terms of helping grow the city of Jamestown. I do have to just give a shout out to the staff for the number of phone calls that we have received and emails, especially with the change in the governor's executive orders in terms of the reduction of staff for non-essential and essential businesses, but also the number of calls that fielded for businesses looking to retool and the amount of time they put in to help those businesses understand how they can start to make masks and gowns and other things right here in Jamestown for the rest of the state. And so I really want to give the entire team credit for that. They spent a lot of time working through that on top of still going out and doing code enforcement, making sure that people aren't violating the governor's executive orders on, the number of people in certain places. And I give them a lot of credit for continuing to do that in this very difficult time. So for that, I thank Crystal and her entire staff, and appreciate the work you guys do.
Thank you. Like I said, the rock stars.
All right. Anything else from folks on the call?
Nope.
We appreciate it. Hopefully you all stay safe. Do as your mother told you, wash your hands, stay away from people. And we hope to see you back in person after all this is done, and healthy and well. Okay? Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
What's that, Beth?
I'm wondering, do we have to do a motion to adjourn? Are we good?
Well, I think let's pretend we did. 'Cause everybody's gone.
Good night, guys.
Right.
Bye.
Okay.